Today I want to talk about the solution to a tackle storage problem, and I hesitate to even call it a problem because this is truly the definition of a first world problem. I have too many fishing rods. After 40 years in the sport, 30 years of tournament fishing, 20 years of writing about it, I've accumulated a ton of rods. I remember when I fished my first tournament in 1995, I brought my 4 or 5 little rods and I thought I was the king of the world. Now, 4 or 5 rods may be a good week or a good month. I just seem to accumulate them exceptionally rapidly. And the problem with that is that when you have too many rods, it's almost as bad as having too few because you can't always find the one that you're looking for. I don't know exactly how many I have. I'm guessing it's over 100. I have 12 or 15 or more in the boat at all times. I have 20 down in Mexico, and I probably have 70 or 80 here. Now, when you want to store them, you kind of want to come up with some sort of a system so you can find the rod that you need on a given day. For those of you guys with massive shops or massive basement areas to store rods along the walls, that's great. But I'm here in my garage. I have Hannah's lawn tractor over there. We've got a refrigerator over there. We have someone's trade show booth in our garage. I simply don't have room to spread everything along the walls, particularly because I like to have my pegboard reserved for all my baits so I can see all of those. So the solution I've come up with is overhead storage. It takes a part of your garage, whether it's the ceiling or the rafters or the trusses that you're not typically using, and it converts it into really valuable rod storage. The other advantage of it is it's right directly over the boat. So when you're in the boat and I decide I need a drop shot rod, I just reach over here. If I need a frog rod, I reach over here. But there's kind of a method to my madness, because if you just store rods up here, you're going to end up in the same conundrum. You're going to need a flipping stick that's way over there, or you're going to need a cranking rod and you're not going to be able to find it and you're going to end up settling for the wrong rod. So let me go through my system. The first thing that I've done is I bought these Piranha rod racks. They're rubber coated, they're simple to use, they hold 11 rods, 6 in one direction and 5 in the other direction. You can put them up in less than 5 minutes with the provided hardware. I actually don't use the hardware that they come with, simply because I want a longer screw to ensure that these are going to stay adhered to the ceiling and that my valuable rods are not going to fall. Berkley makes a very similar rack. They hold, I believe, 6 rods. You can get those from Tackle Warehouse as well. You can even come up with a do-it-yourself solution. You can come up with hooks from Home Depot. You can put dowels across here, anything that'll hang your rods. What I like about these is it holds the handles solidly, yet the rods are real easy to get out. One thing that I do is that I store all the reels, when possible, on this side. So as I'm sitting here by the console of my boat working on my tackle, I can grab the ones with reels. Now sometimes a rack will have too many rods with reels in it and you'll end up with 1 or 2 facing the other way. That's okay, obviously. I'm just a little OCD. I like as many of them facing this way as I can get. And then the rods that don't have reels, if I'm less likely to use them, can be facing this way. And again, I want to know that I can find a cranking rod when I need it or a flipping rod when I need it. So what I've done here is I've organized them by groups, and it may look like a little bit of madness, but there's actually a method to my madness. Starting all the way on the end, those are my specialty bait casting rods, jerk bait rods, bait finesse rods, anything that I don't use all that much, but might need in the course of a season. Obviously, they're harder to get to from the boat. I may need to use a chair or a stool to get to them, but they're less frequently used, so that's fine. Moving over, I have spinning rods here. Starting right here with the ones I use the most, my wacky rig rods, my drop shot rods, and moving over there to some specialty rods, a skipping rod, or an extra heavy drop shot rod, something like that. Right here, I reserve this space for rods and reels that I'm working on and planning to pull in and out of the boat at a given time. I have a buzzbait rod here that I've been using, or I might have a swim bait rod. But any rod or reel that's in these 2 racks right here has fresh line on it. I don't put anything that's old in there because you want to remember I have old mono or old fluorocarbon, and that's going to cost you fish. Also, I like to leave these open, so if I'm working on tackle in the boat, I can take the rods that I need to re-rig, put them up there, pull them back down when I need them. Okay. Also in this center section, I want rods that have fluorocarbon monofilament copolymer here. These are sort of my 7-foot medium heavy generic bait casters that I'm going to use for a little bit of everything. Maybe for pitching a worm around, maybe for throwing spinner bait, something like that. All around rods so I can grab 1 or 2 at any given time. As I move over to this section over here, these are all my braided line rods. These tend to be heavy rods, frog rods, flipping sticks, things like that. So I know if I need a rod with monofilament or fluorocarbon for an all-around purpose, it's here. If I need sort of a specialty moving bait rod, it's over there. And if I need something for the real heavy jungle, braided line, right here. Then finally, I have one more section over there. Those are rods that are either out of the rotation or that haven't made it into the rotation yet. You can see I have 2 of those new Veritas rods from Abu Garcia. Haven't tried them yet. They may be the greatest thing since beer in a can, but until I actually know what I'm going to use them for, I don't want them in this main section. Your organization may end up being different. You may not fish a lot of braided lines, so you might push those out to the end. You may fish more spinning rods, so you'll push those closer to the center. Come up with a system that works for you, but if you're like I am and you're fishing the Potomac River heavy grass one day and then you're going to Lake Anna to drop shot 6-pound line, you're going to need to have a variety of things at the ready, and you don't want to pick the wrong rod when it's time. Come up with a system that works for you, but it always makes sense to find this area that you're not using that's convenient to your boat and use that to its maximum effectiveness. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it helps you store your rods better. Please remember to check out halfpastfirstcast.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's small, but it's growing real fast. Please, we have Tackle Warehouse links in the description below. Go to them, click on them. It doesn't cost you a penny more. You can get rod racks like this, or shoot us an email if you have a question about how you could better use this to your advantage. We'd love to help you out. Buying tackle is fun. Keeping it organized can be a chore. It doesn't have to be a chore. Make it work for you.